So in the last lesson, we introduced some vocabulary of some different parts of an expression: variables, coefficients, and constants. When you combine all of this stuff to form like a mathematical sentence, basically, what it's called a polynomial. A polynomial just means it's some sort of combination of terms. Poly means many, nomial means like number or term, so it just means many terms, which actually is just one or more terms. I know it's kind of lame, but. So there are a few polynomials that have their own name because they're special. A monomial means one term. For example, 3, that's a term. 5x, negative 6a squared, those are all separate monomials. A binomial, the prefix bi means 2, so that means 2 terms, like 2x plus 3. Those are both terms. Or x to the 5th minus 1. Those are both terms. That's a binomial. And then the prefix tri means 3. So a trinomial would be 3 terms. Something like x squared plus 3x plus 2. Those are 3 terms. All of these are polynomials. And you could even have 4 terms, 5 terms, even more. All of that is a polynomial. It's just a combo of terms, basically. Here are some things that are not polynomials. If you ever have a variable as an exponent, something like 2 to the x, that is not considered a polynomial. If you ever have a negative exponent, something like 5x to the negative 1, see that negative exponent? If you ever have a variable in the denominator, something like 5 over x, it's actually the same as this, side note. If you ever divide by a variable, that's not a polynomial. And if you ever have a radical, this is a radical, over a variable, that is not a polynomial. It's okay to have a radical over a number, like this is okay, because the variable is not under the radical. But if you ever have a radical over the variable, that is not a polynomial. This one's good. That one's not. So we're going to go through a few examples of polynomials and just kind of classify them. So you'll need to pause the video and draw this out on a piece of paper to take some notes. Here's a list of some polynomials, and we're going to fill the rest in. So pause and draw that out. Okay, first let's describe the number of terms. So this one is just one term. That makes it a monomial. This one has 2 terms. That makes it a binomial. This one has 1, 2, 3 terms. That makes it a trinomial. This one has 1, 2 terms. That makes it a binomial. This one has 1, 2, 3 terms. That makes it a trinomial. This one, remember, as long as everything's multiplied together, it's the same term. So that is a term, this is a term, and this is a term. That's still just 3 terms. That is a trinomial. And for this last one, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. So that one doesn't have a special name. We'll just call it a polynomial. All right, now we're going to talk about something called degree. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list the degree of some of these and see if you can figure out where this is coming from. This first one has degree 0. The second one has degree 1. This one has degree 2. That one is degree 3. I didn't mean to make this go in order, but it is. All right, see if you can figure out where these are coming from. We ended our pattern. All right, so hopefully you've paused, you've taken a guess. The degree is the highest exponent. Or sum of exponents. For example, let's start with like this one. Do you see how the highest exponent, that one doesn't even have one, the highest exponent is 3? That's the degree. This one has an exponent of 2 and an exponent of 1 and an exponent of 0. And so the highest would be 2. And there you go. This one has a 1, that's the degree. This one, technically there's an x to a 0 there, which is just a 1. So this one has degree 0. This one, you've got a 2 or a 4. The 4 is the highest. And then down here it gets a little more complicated. We've actually got some combos here. This is a 3 and a 1, so that term makes up 4 if you add those. This one has a 2 and a 4, which makes 6. This one has a 1 and a 2, which makes 3. The highest of those would be 6. 2 plus 4. Down here, you've got a 3, a 1, and 2 plus 2, which is 4, so that's the highest on that one. So that is the degree of the polynomial. So for example, I could say this is a trinomial with degree 2, or this is a trinomial of degree 4. And then the leading coefficient is exactly what it sounds like. It's the coefficient that is leading. And it's only leading if you have your polynomial written in order. So like highest exponent goes first, and then you decrease from there. For example, on this one, see how my highest exponent was written first, and then I went down from there? So the leading coefficient on this one is the number in front, which is a 1, it's just not written. So the leading coefficient for that one is a 1. Same thing here. That's my highest exponent, so the number in front is the leading coefficient, a 1. On this one, this was my highest exponent, the number in front was a 3, so that is the coefficient for that one. This one was actually just a constant, so I'm not going to list any leading coefficient. On this one, it's not in order. To be a little more official, we would put this first and then put this on the end. It's okay, but since this is the highest exponent, my leading coefficient is the number in front of it, the 8. So basically it's just the number that goes with that highest exponent. On this one, this was the highest exponent combo, so -5 is my leading coefficient. And on this one, the winner was this term, so -4 is my leading coefficient. There's a more official looking filled out version if you want to use that.